Alright, I'm Preposterous Whitey, the Mystical Slacker. Thank you for stopping by. This is episode 5 of The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past for the Super Nintendo. And the last episode we completed the Tower of Hera, which is the game's third dungeon. In this one we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to get the Master Sword and move on to the Dark World. Once we reach the Dark World, there's not really much left to do in the Light World. I mean, there's heart pieces and a few side quests there, but the main focus of the game will shift to being in the Dark World. And here we have it, the Master Sword. Oh, but it's a fake. So we gotta hunt down the real Master Sword in this foggy forest. Looks pretty cool. I've heard tales of effects like this increasing video sizes for YouTubers, so I guess I'm gonna find out firsthand if that's true. I've heard of screen effects like fog and rain really adding to that file size. Oh well, either way, it's gonna get uploaded. So through here is the real Master Sword in the Sacred Grove. Aw, look at all the cute little animals. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and read this real quick, just as a little piece of information. The hero's triumph on Cataclysm's eve wins 3 symbols of virtue. The Master Sword he will then retrieve, keeping the knight's line true. Alright. This is actually the first appearance of the Master Sword, unusually. You would think it would be something that's been with the series since the beginning, but no, this is its debut in the third game. So now we have a powered-up sword, and when our hearts are full, we can shoot beams out of it. So Sahasrara is going to talk to us telepathically, and he's going to tell us that it's great that we have the Master Sword, and good job, buddy. And then we can defeat Aghanim now that we have it. So we're going to head back to Hyrule Castle, and we're going to kill the shit out of that treacherous wizard who's taken over the Hyrule Castle. He is a treasonous bastard and must be stopped. And there's a telepathic message from Zelda telling me that the guards had just come to the sanctuary, so I'm sure she's fine. Like I said, Zelda does not get kidnapped. It's not her style. She is very skilled with various weapons. She knows Kung Fu, so they're not going to stand a chance. I'm sure she's fine back there. Ugh. When you hit those cactus guys, they shock you with electricity. Because when you think of cacti, you think electricity, right? Right. Anyway. We can't get into that tree yet. Later on, when those lumberjacks are done sawing it, we can get in there for a piece of heart, I believe. Gonna head in here. Actually, I think there's a fairy fountain nearby. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop in and replenish our supply. We've been using one fairy per episode lately, and that's really been eating through it. Come on, fairy fountain. Oh, it has the fairy fountain music. Maybe it's only on the other side that has fairies. Oh well. We'll survive. Aghanim is not a hard boss by any measure. By any means is he difficult. He can actually be defeated using the bug catching net, and I'm not making that up. He can be defeated using the bug catching net. So Aghanim, he is set up to be the main boss of this game, but as I'm sure you all know, I'm not going to protect you from spoilers for a 21-year-old game. As I'm sure you all know, Ganon is the true villain of this game, as he is in most Zelda games. He makes his triumphant return. In fact, I guess this would only be the second game that he's technically the villain of. In Zelda 1, he was the main villain, but then in Zelda 2, you were sort of just... I think the main villains, like I said, I've never beaten that game, but I think the main villains were people who wanted to revive Ganon, because he had already been killed in Zelda 1. That was back when Ganon could be killed. Oh boy, got some slowdown. But anyway, so I guess this is his triumphant return in more ways than one. It's his second game being the main villain, and pretty much every game since has featured Ganon as the main villain. Not much variety there. Some side games will have other villains, Vaddie and Demise in Skyward Sword. Vaddie is in the Minish Cap and the Four Swords games. But mainly, Ganon is to this series what Bowser is to the Mario games. So we're going to go through here. There's a little mini dungeon in here. We can slash away this electric field with our new Master Sword. There's a little bit of a dungeon in here, but it's not very long, as far as I can remember. The main feature here is the boss fight with Aghanim. As you can see, the sword beams that I have are very useful for keeping enemies like this at bay. I'm going to try not to be just a cheap asshole there. I'm going to try to get in some danger. There we go. But they do less damage than an actual sword strike with the Master Sword, because the Master Sword does twice as the damage of the regular sword, of your normal sword that you start out of the game with, that your uncle passed down to you. Oh shit, I should have caught that. I didn't react fast enough. Anyway, so... But the sword beams, they will do the same amount of damage a strike from your first sword would do. So they're not quite as powerful, but it's very handy to have a ranged attack to shoot out when your hearts are full. Because, I mean, you can destroy enemies from afar like that without having to use your boomerang or use the bow. Just very handy. So we'll get through here. I think that this, like I said, this isn't very long, so I think that we might even go ahead and do some side quests at the end of this video just to sort of pad it out. Otherwise, this would wind up probably being the shortest episode of this so far. I may be wrong on that. Don't have a very good concept of time. Oh shit. Luckily that guy didn't hurt me enough to actually take away any hearts. So I still have my sword beams. So Aghanim, he's going to die. We're going to kill him with his own... We're going to hoist him on his own petard, as one would say if they lived in the 1960s. Going to defeat him, fight his fire with his own fire, or whatever, what the fuck ever. It's very dark in here. I could light the lanterns to give it a little bit more of a full screen picture. I actually kind of like the effect of wandering around in the dark. I think it's a nice atmosphere. Oh, come on. There we go. Kept clanking my sword against his. I couldn't get in there and kill him. If you hear noises in the background, it's because I'm so professional that I forgot to mute my phone before starting this recording, so you're going to hear, if you could hear that in the background, that was Tattle's sound from Tattle the Fairy in Majora's Mask. And that is indicating that my sister is texting me. If you hear a GameCube boot up noise, that means my girlfriend is texting me. Ooh. These red guys take a lot of hits. A lot of things are color-coded, as they were in video games back in the day. The green enemies are usually the least tough. They normally only take one hit from anything to defeat. The blue enemies take 3 hits with a normal sword, I think 2 with the Master Sword. And these guys, they take 3 with the Master Sword, so... The red ones are the toughest. What is it about red? I mean, I know that different colors have different psychological effects and they're used for those reasons, but what specifically about red means this is what every hard enemy in a video game is going to be? Because, especially in classic games, a boss would turn red, like halfway through the battle or something, to indicate that they become more powerful. I guess it's because it's the color of anger. I guess that would be the most logical explanation for that. It's color of anger, and when people are more angry, you know, they have more adrenaline, so they have higher strength. I'm glad we could logic that out together. Because there's some things that I haven't given that much thought to, but I've always kind of wondered about. So, Ooh, I didn't know we could do that. I hit his spear in midair with my arrow. These three guys, I mean, I know I don't have to stand here and kill these guys, but I kind of want to. These three guys combined, they kind of make over a little formidable mini-boss fight here. I'm surprised it's not a mini-boss fight. It doesn't have the door locked or anything until you beat him. I was hoping one of them would have a fairy. So as you can see, things are starting to ramp up a little bit in difficulty. I mean, it's still not hard if you're paying attention. Wow, that guy gets stuck. Still not hard if you're paying attention and really concentrating, but we're getting to the point where it's starting to throw more than the most basic enemies at us. We're gonna go and shoot that guy from across the way so he can't... Oh, well, I guess he came to us anyway, but he's dead now. And we took all his money. The single rupee he had to his name now belongs to me, leaving nothing for his non-existent family because there's no place for them to live. Alright. Got that classic Ganon music going in the background. Gotta come in here, and there's Princess Zelda on that weird-looking claw bed thing. And he's going to send her off into the Dark World to be imprisoned. Oh, I had to shut up there so you guys could hear those glorious Super Nintendo sound effects. I love the Super Nintendo. Most games on this channel are probably going to be Super Nintendo games, because I think it's the bee's knees. So let's see what's behind curtain number 1. No! Curtain number 3. No! And that leaves curtain number 2! Alright. So we can't just hit this guy with our sword, like most bosses. We have to use some strategy here. He's going to throw different kinds of magic, and this one, the one that looks like that, can be reflected back at him to cause damage. There are others, like lightning and those will just hurt us, so we've got to be careful. I don't have a fairy on me, so I don't want you guys to have to watch me do that whole dungeon again. Oh yeah. I don't know how many hits this guy takes. It's not 3, but it's probably not very many more than that. Aghanim's a weird-looking dude. Yeah, not 3. Anyway, I always wondered, like, where is this supposed to be? I mean, there's just a blank blue background. Are we on a balcony or something? I guess that would make sense since we came through that curtain. Kinda looks like a balcony, with the sky surrounding it. This guy can only be defeated by his own magic, and he's about to shoot lightning, so I gotta get the hell out of the way. Come on, give me something to hurt you with. Yeah. You know, a lot of video game bosses wouldn't be defeatable if they didn't do certain things. And this is sort of one of the quintessential examples of that. If this guy just stopped using that kind of magic, I wouldn't be able to do anything. I would not be able to hurt him. But he just keeps throwing it at me, because he's an arrogant asshole. Now he's gonna spin around and warp us both to the Dark World. Alright, here we are at the Pyramid of Power in the Dark World. This is going to be the Dark World, that is. This is going to be the main setting for the rest of the game. Just when you think it's over, it's not nearly. There's still, I believe, 8 more dungeons to go. So, we got a lot of work to do. So basically, by unleashing the Master Sword, we sort of have linked these two worlds together. So now we can go to the Dark World freely. We can travel back to the Light World, the normal world, with the magic mirror, but like I said, there's not much of a reason to do that. You do have to travel back and forth once in a while, though. Wow, Sahasrahla is a chatty little bitch, isn't he? Just won't shut up. Come on. Alright, with that dramatic spin around and sword swing, and now that we're in the Dark World, we're going to go ahead and call that an episode. So, thanks for stopping by for episode 5. I hope to see you next time. This is Preposterous Whitey, the Mystical Slacker, signing off.